Indonesia is strategically located on the southern edge of continental Asia and borders both the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. More importantly, it is one of two countries that control the narrow body of water connecting those two oceans, namely the Straits of Malacca. If you thought that a blockade of the Straits of Hormuz was a problem for the world economy, imagine a blockade of the Malacca Straits, which are important not only for the passage of oil and gas, but also container and bulk cargo vessels. Since independence in 1945, Indonesia has been an influential player in international affairs. And under President Prabowo Subianto, it appears the country is poised to play an even more important role in the years ahead. Here are just a few examples.
Dengerin itu baik-baik. Bukan media lokal yang ngomong, tapi senator Kanada di gedung Senat Ottawa. Indonesia bukan lagi sekedar pemain cadangan. Kita lagi OTW jadi global powerhouse.
But we can learn some lessons from Indonesia about matching rhetoric with action. At its core, honorable colleagues, how Canada positions itself in a world that is no longer...
Baru-baru ini, jagat politik internasional lagi rame ngebahas pidato dari Senator Yuen Pau Woo di Senat Kanada. Pau Woo nggak cuma basa-basi diplomatik, dia ngebedah sejarah kita dari zaman Sriwijaya sampai Majapahit buat ngejelasin satu hal. Indonesia itu punya DNA pemimpin dunia. Dan sekarang, di bawah kepemimpinan Presiden Prabowo Subianto, radar dunia makin intens mantau pergerakan kita. Kenapa? Karena kita bukan cuma pasar, kita adalah gerbang masa depan. Sobat, Senator Woo ngingetin dunia kalau sejak abad ke-7, nenek moyang kita udah jadi jembatan peradaban. Sekarang, lihat Selat Malaka. Kalau jalur ini mampet, ekonomi dunia bisa kolaps. Itulah kenapa Senator Woo bilang Indonesia punya historical centrality. Kita itu pusatnya, titik tengahnya. Dengan populasi terbesar keempat dunia dan mayoritas muslim terbesar, kita punya bargaining power yang nggak bisa diremehin. Nah, ini poin yang paling daging. Senator Woo menyoroti kepemimpinan Presiden Prabowo. Menurutnya, Indonesia di bawah Prabowo bakal makin berani main di banyak kaki.
Indonesia hosted the Asian African Conference of Non-Aligned States in 1955, more popularly known as the Bandung Conference. Bandung was Indonesia's declaration that newly independent states could shape world politics on their own terms, not as clients of great powers, but as collective actors. Indonesia and the other countries at Bandung were ahead of their time, but they correctly captured the sentiment of countries in what is now called the Global South in the early years of decolonization. This sentiment has intensified in recent years and has seen expression in international fora such as the BRICS and the G20. Indeed, Indonesia became a full member of BRICS in 2025 and is the only permanent Southeast Asian member of the G20.
Bayangin, kita jadi anggota penuh BRICS di 2025. Satu-satunya anggota tetap G20 dari ASEAN dan sekarang lagi incer keanggotaan OECD. Ini yang disebut variable geometry. Kita bisa kerjasama bareng siapa aja tanpa harus manut ke satu kekuatan besar. Independent and active policy kita lagi divalidasi sama dunia. Gak cuma soal ekonomi, Indonesia juga vokal soal keadilan.
Indonesia is an active contributor to global governance reform and should be seen as a vital partner not only in bilateral and minilateral settings, but also in the reform and renewal of the multilateral system, including the UN system, WTO, and international financial institutions.
Kita adalah garda terdepan yang minta reformasi di Dewan Keamanan PBB dan lembaga keuangan kayak IMF atau Bank Dunia. Kenapa? Biar negara berkembang gak cuma jadi penonton. Di WTO, kita mimpin kelompok 33 buat lindungi petani kecil. Strategis banget kan? Kita gak cuma mikirin diri sendiri, tapi jadi abang buat negara-negara berkembang lainnya.
An increase in the voting power and representation of developing countries in decision-making processes at both the IMF and the World Bank to reflect contemporary economic realities.
Ada satu fakta yang bikin Senator Wu kagum sekaligus malu sendiri.
Indonesia is a leading contributor to UN peacekeeping missions, with over 2,700 peacekeepers deployed across various missions around the world, compared to Canada, which has 0.
Indonesia punya lebih dari 2.700 pasukan perdamaian PBB di seluruh dunia. Bandingkan nih sama Kanada yang saat ini hampir 0. Ini bukti nyata kalau action kita lebih keras daripada sekedar retorika. Kita benar-benar turun ke lapangan buat jaga kedamaian dunia. Kesimpulannya, perjanjian IKCEPA antara Kanada dan Indonesia itu bukan cuma soal dagang barang atau jasa. Ini soal trust. Kanada sadar mereka butuh Indonesia buat bisa relevan di abad 21. Dunia lagi berubah ke arah multipolar dan Indonesia adalah salah satu swing state atau negara penentu. Bangga nggak jadi orang Indonesia? Harusnya sih bangga banget. Gimana menurut kalian? Apakah di era Presiden Prabowo ini Indonesia beneran bakal jadi raksasa yang disegani di semua lini? Tulis pendapat cerdas kalian di kolom komentar ya. Jangan lupa like, share, dan subscribe buat update geopolitik paling tajam lainnya. Stay tuned and stay smart.
At its core, honorable colleagues, the Canada-Indonesia Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement is less about tariffs and more about building trust between the two countries. It is also a pathway to strengthening bilateral relations across other domains. In this sense, the agreement is vital for Canadians. The agreement is a signal for Canadians to pay more attention to Indonesia and vice versa. Whether it is research partnerships, student mobility, tourism, or cultural exchanges, we need more Indonesia, and Indonesia needs more Canada. Which is why I'm pleased to inform you that Senator Gignac and I will, with your support, reactivate a Canada-Indonesia Parliamentary Friendship Group. There have been a few Indonesian parliamentary delegations to Canada in recent years, and there is interest on the part of Indonesian parliamentarians for more regular contact with Canadian counterparts. You will be interested to know that the Indonesian Parliament, known as the People's Consultative Assembly, consists of two chambers. The House of Representatives holds primary legislative power, while the House of Regional Representatives acts as an advisory upper house focused on regional issues. Sounds familiar? Stay tuned for an invitation to be charter members of this parliamentary friendship group. Honourable colleagues, this agreement will not only boost trade and investment between Canada and Indonesia, but also demonstrate Canada's commitment to the region. This agreement is not just a trade deal. It is a signal that Canada is prepared to show up in the world as it is, not as it once was.